Alright, so we're back on this 2013 Yamaha Grizzly 550 EFI. So, in a previous video, this was on the trailer, and I told you it was a crank no start. So, I went through, I'll save you the process of doing all the diagnostics on this thing. So anyway, the access fuses, relays, and everything else, battery, you gotta pull the front rack, pull the front cover, and then you can get in here to your battery, okay? And then you see down there, there's 3 relays there, okay? Then you got your master fuse right there, and then those are your fuses right there. So obviously I did the first checks, checked all the fuses were good. Made sure we didn't have something stupid. Oh, you also got, there's 2 relays there, you can barely see the other one under there. So checked, made sure I had power in and out of all the relays. Those are all functioning properly. We had good voltage in the battery. Nothing stupid like neutral safety switch. Everything was working the way it should on the dash, and I can show you everything. Get rid of that glare. Anyway, the glare is horrible. I'm sorry. Anyway, everything is working the way it should. And you can see this guy likes to ride around in 4-wheel drive. Okay, so that's not working. Does diff lock work? Diff lock works. Oh, there we go. So now we're out of 4-wheel drive. Anyway, everything was working, and made sure the switch was in the on position, and as you can see, crank no start. Anyway, right to the point. In order to access your fuel pump, they give you this little tiny hole right there that you can see the fuel line and see the electrical connector, but you can't do anything else. So I had to pull everything off the rear so we could access the fuel pump. So from there, what you want to do is the red wire is 12 volts to the pump when the machine is running. The green wire with the yellow stripe right here, okay, is your initial pulse. So when you turn the key on, that primes the system, makes the fuel pump come on. And then you have the black with the white as your ground, and the other black is your sending unit for your gas gauge. So I had 12 volts going to the green wire, no fuel pump when you turn the key on. So what I did is I back probed the red wire, and I put 12 volts right to the pump. No pump, does not come on. Unplugged the fuel pump, made sure the connections were all good, not green, corroded, and all that happy horse shit, and we're all good there. So we know for a fact fuel pump is junk. So we ordered a new fuel pump on that one, and that should be here in a couple of days. So we'll revisit that. Then on the other machine, let's take a walk around back. This is a 2013 450 with power steering. And the customer said the reverse light was on all the time. As you can see, reverse light is not on. It's actually the power steering light that's on all the time. Now, when you start the machine up and you ride it around, then the reverse light starts blinking. So, in order to get the codes out of this without a scan tool, you're supposed to put key on, and then you put the meter on hours, which it is, and then you're supposed to hold the select button. While holding the select button, you turn your lights high beam, low beam, high beam, low beam, high beam, low beam, still holding the select button, and it's supposed to put this in diagnostic mode, which it does not. So that's a separate issue. The issue with the light, there's only a couple of things that can make that light come on. Well, the other thing is the speedometer does not work. When you drive this thing around, everything illuminates the way it's supposed to, but you see that stays at 0 no matter what you do. Forward, reverse, doesn't matter. That stays right at 0. The gear selector does work, so when you move the gear selector to whatever gear you want to be in, that changes. So we know that's not the problem. So 9 times out of 10, the issue is usually a vehicle speed sensor. All right, so we know the speedometer doesn't work. So what we did, and if you look way down yonder at the other end of this wire in there, there is your speed sensor right there. All right, and if you follow this wire up, you get to this connector right here. Okay, this white and gray connector. So what you do is you unplug it. All right, and these two wires right here, the white with the red stripe and the white with the green stripe, okay, that you should have 4.5 volts or more on the white with the red stripe, okay, and the white with the green is your ground. Okay, so what you do is you unplug that, and on the vehicle side of the plug, you want to check those 2 pins and make sure you have 4 volts or more and a ground. The third wire on there is your signal wire, which sends the signal from the sensor to the ECM that tells you how fast you're going. All right, so I did that, and I have both voltage and ground going to the sensor. Is there an ohms check for that sensor? If there is, I couldn't find one. But when I did do an ohms check on that sensor, it was kind of low, and it should be actually kind of high, because it's just a coil. That's all that is. It's a magnet with a coil. So the sensors do go bad, and this is a relatively low hour, low mile machine. So, you know, you kind of question yourself. See, 152 hours, and well, I'm not going to get to it. Odometer, 1,200 miles. So there's not a lot of miles on this machine. Okay. Yes, they do go bad. So now I will tell you, when you look up the part number for the sensor, the speed sensor on this machine, you'll see on the Yamaha parts breakdown where there is a new part number for this sensor. It's been superseded from the original, but when you look it up, it tells you that that's the wrong part and it does not fit this machine. That is incorrect. It does fit this machine, so it's an issue on Yamaha's end. And I did contact the local dealer, and they contacted Yamaha because I was questioning whether or not that was the right part number, and it is. So I ordered one of them, which is not cheap, about 130 bucks from the Yamaha dealer. So you want to make sure that that is the problem before you just go waste your money on a new sensor. But so that's coming, and once we get everything up and running, I will make another video and update everybody on that. So that's all I got for now. Yeah. So whenever this isn't a bad job. Take all the plastic off the back. It's relatively easy. So it just takes a few minutes. So it's not, it looks like it's more work than it is, but it's not. But that's it for now. And when we get this beast running, we'll be back.